grandfather's clock was too large for the shelf, so it stood 90 years on the floor. It was taller by half than the old man himself, though it weighed not a pennyweight more. It was bought on the morn of the day that he was born. It was always his treasure and pride, but it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, but it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. In watching its pendulum swing to and fro, many hours had he spent while a boy. And in childhood and manhood the clock seemed to know, and to share both his grief and his joy. For it struck 24 when he entered in the door, with a blooming and beautiful bride. But it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, but it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. My grandfather said that of those he could hire, not a servant so faithful he found. For it wasted no time, and had but one desire, at the close of each week to be wound. For it kept in its place, not a frown upon its face, and its hands never hung by his side. But it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, but it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. It rang an alarm in the dead of the night, an alarm that for years had been dumb. And we knew that his spirit was pluming for flight, that his hour of departure had come. Still the clock kept its time with a soft and muffled chime, as we silently stood by his side. But it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, but it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. Yes, it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died.
Hello. Good morning, friends. It's me. I'm back. I hope you're all doing pretty well on this fine Thursday morning. I am doing quite well. We are gonna paint some mummies and zombies today. We've got the 2 cast models for the zombies done that I did last time. There they are. The zombie twins. Done and grun. And we are going to finish off these 2 mummies so that we have our test scheme down for them too. So for these ones, it's going to be relatively simple because we're just painting bandages. That's the cool part about these mummies, is that they don't really have too many accessories, you know, which is nice because I don't have to paint accessories. But just got to paint a bunch of bandages. So this is the color scheme that everyone liked more, which is the sepia, just because I think it's a little bit of a warmer color, a little bit of a more got a little bit more of a contrast to it than just brown. So, but now we're going through with Dust Bowl, and we are painting the. Zoom out just a little bit. And we are painting the base coat for the bindings. That's all we're doing right now. Hope everybody's having a good, holiday-ish season. Christmas is sort of weird for me this year. We just had our daughter, so we're not super, we haven't really been able to go anywhere. And it's been an interesting time, to say the least. Having a newborn always makes something interesting. But with my son, he was born in February, so it was much later in the year when Christmas rolled around. So we were kind of ready and willing for the holidays at that point. In fact, I think we even took him on an airplane to go see his my in-laws that first Christmas. But with my daughter, she was born in November, so she's still very much in the newborn phase. She just turned a month old last Sunday, and she still very much doesn't sleep through the night, needs to eat all the time, that kind of thing. You know, just newborn things. And it's kind of a drain on all of us, in just the sense that none of us are sleeping that well. But we love her to pieces. We're very happy that she's here, of course. And this is going to be her first Christmas, so it should be one that she doesn't even remember. But I'm sure it'll be fun for everybody else who gets to see her and just like, oh, look at a cute baby. She's very cute. We heard this song up at the top. I think I'm going to skip her.
My grandfather's clock was too large for the shelf, so it stood 90 years on the floor.
Next track. Thank you. I'm hoping that this flesh tone won't blend too much in with the bindings. But it's okay if it blends in a little bit, honestly. But we're going to add highlights to it just to make it stand out a little bit more. I just want to wait until after I got the bindings all painted before I add highlights. Because I want to pick a color that's going to stand out, you know? But the cool thing about the skin also is that if it doesn't stand out enough, I can go through and I can I can add a glaze of like a color to maybe like make it stand out. But as it stands, these mummies are supposed to be like, you know, very dry and desiccated and like, you know, they're zombies, you know? You don't want, not zombies, they're mummies. But, I mean, they're kind of like zombies, but not fleshy. They're covered in bindings and stuff, you know? I'm saving the head to last because I want it to. I gotta, like, you know. Gotta be a little more careful around the head. Okay. I think that's all the bindings painted, or based rather. And we're gonna go step up with Dragon Fang. We're gonna try to leave most of those darker brown sort of. Seeing something here that I should have gotten. Because I want these bindings to look ancient. I think ancient linens that the whatever mummified these guys wrapped them in. It's not like this came from a store yesterday, you know? So we're using Dragon Fang. For our first layer. And this is sort of a sandy beige-ish kind of color. Just sort of lightly running my brush over the details. Hey, Zonated. Welcome on in. Hope you're doing all right. Again, being careful with the head. Yeah, this is the zombie mummy. Yeah, this is the mummer. All right, we're gonna do one last highlight color on the mummy, and we're gonna do Skeleton Legion. I'm just applying this to the places where I think that there's like where the fabric is stressed or light might hit a little bit more. Whoop. Yeah, yay, Christmas. Alright, buddy. Have fun watching Stranger Things. Alrighty. And now we're going to highlight this, do a little highlight on the skin of Pallid Witch Flesh. Just to accentuate it. And with that highlight, you can really tell what's skin and what's bindings. And then we're going to do the eye. As the zombies do, or zombies, the mummies have one eye, which is a nice change of pace. Where are you, Ash Gray? My painting desk is an absolute mess. I'm so glad none of you can see it. There you are.
And Ringwood, Bellman and True, from a fine to a check, from a check to a view, from a view to a death in the morning. For the sound of his horn brought me from my bed, and the cry of his hounds which he oft times led. Peel's view, hello, would awaken the dead, or the fox from his lair in the morning.
Okay, we follow the Ash Gray up with... Ooh, Brigade Gray.
We'll follow John Peel through fair and through foul if we want a good hunt in the morning. For the sound of his horn brought me from my bed, and the cry of his hounds which he oft times led. Peel's view, hello, would awaken the dead, or the fox from his lair in the morning. Do you ken John Peel with his coat so grey? He lived at Troutbeck once on a day. Now he has gone far, far, far away. We shall ne'er hear his voice in the morning. For the sound of his horn brought me from my bed, and the cry of his hounds which he oft times led. Peel's view, hello, would awaken the dead, or the fox from his lair in the morning. John Peel's view, hello, would awaken the dead, or the fox from his lair in the morning.
Okay. And then last is just a straight up .o white. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to do the same kind of like glowy eyes that we did with the zombie on the mummy. So we start off with Corandra Screen. You just get a little bit of this. I don't want to flood the eyeball. But we want enough of it to be able to go in the recess there. And then while that's still drying, we're going to add Imperial Fist. Again, not terribly too much of this. But this gives us these really cool looking, like, yellowy eyes. And there you go. That is our first mummy done. And now we do the second. And then we just, but that's a good, but that is our test case, so. Okay. And this is the tedious part of squad painting, is because you have to you get so proud of the work that you did the first time, and then you just have to do it again. But the good news is that this particular horde of undead are the last two big squads that I need to paint. The rest of them are only like 3 or 4 models. I say models. I didn't assemble them. They're miniatures. I do have a squad of orcish bowmen that I need to paint as well. I painted all the other orcs, but I forgot the bow and arrow ones. The brush is getting a little dry. It's very dry today inside because the heat's been running. It's wet outside. But when you have dry air in the house, it gets, your paint and your brushes tend to dry quicker. You know. This is a Dungeons and Dragons playlist on Pretzel, by the way. And I'm loving all these sea shanties. Fantastic. And all this Celtic sounding music is really good too. I keep going out of my painting zone. I'm just gonna back out just a little bit more there. It's just because I'm focusing. I don't know if you can tell by the intense look of focus on my face. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. There was a phone call. I missed the phone call, but it's fine. I'll handle that after I finish my stream and stuff. Nothing too time pressing, but it was from it was a local call, so I figured it was something semi-important. It might have been a call back about a job or something. It wasn't about a job. I saw what the voicemail was. But I know what it's about. That's the only danger of using your phone as your painting camera. Just bringing up some of that color. Some of this is just a little bit too, paint was just a little too wet in these places, and it just didn't go on as fully as I would like it to. A little bit too much black showing through. It also helps when I look at it on the computer monitor a little bit, because like sometimes I'll notice something on there that I don't notice while I'm holding it, because I'm looking at it at different angles, kind of. I'm looking at it straight on. This is looking at it top down, so sometimes it'll catch things that I miss, which is nice. Excuse me. Okay. Cheap viewers, streamboo.com. Be gone, bot. Alright, now moving on to the Dragon Fang. Our first color highlight on the bindings. A lot of dead air, and I apologize for that. It's mostly just me focusing, but to be fair, chat's pretty dead. So not a whole lot for me to bounce off of. I could just narrate what I'm doing, I guess. I'm just going back and I'm applying the first color highlight here. And then after this, I will highlight the do the last color highlight on the bindings. I'm wondering if I should maybe start moving my streams to the evenings. Seems like more folks are around then. I was doing it in the mornings before I got the job that I was fired from. So I had a lot of folks, I had a lot of European folks join the stream, and I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to keep the stream going in the mornings for them, but I have sort of been doing it later and later, and that's just because that's when I'm able to do it. I have to maneuver time around my newborn and my son. He's got to go to school in the mornings, and I say school, he's going to daycare. We call it school. It's just easier to call it school. But yeah, I have to maneuver it around him. And when it was just me at home, it was very easy for me to go shower in the morning or shower as soon as I dropped him off, and then hop on the stream pretty early. So I got a lot of European viewers, which was awesome. But now it's kind of like been 10 a.m. and later. That's mostly just because my wife is here. And she sort of tends to the newborn, or, you know, she takes a nap while she can in the mornings while the baby is sleeping. Because, you know, she doesn't get that much sleep at night, so she sleeps when she can, which is not a bad thing. And then and that's when I'm able to really, like, say, start my stream. And that's usually not until later. Unfortunately. But the evenings are difficult because I have to wait until my newborn really decides that she wants to sleep, which is kind of inconsistent on any given night. Though I suppose if I wanted to be a bit of a deadbeat, I could just leave my wife to attend to the newborn and let her get to sleep. And I could just go stream at a late hour. I don't feel it's very fair to her, though. That's the unfortunate thing. Because I want to be there to help get the kiddo to sleep. So once that kiddo's asleep, she can go to sleep. I don't know. Tricky decision, that's all. I was trying to figure out when would be a good time for folks to pop in, because I like a nice lively chat on stream. It helps me feel more motivated, and I think it's more fun for everybody watching if folks are talking. If you have a suggestion, and you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Sure. Evening or morning? If you're watching on Twitch for the VOD, it's an interesting decision, but tell me on any one of my social medias what you think. Instagram, shoot me a message on Threads, all that stuff. Alright, so there we go. That's our last highlight on the bindings done. Now we're going to add this final highlight to the skin. This is our Pallid Witch flesh once again. And this is just really going to help us differentiate the skin from the bindings, which can be hard on these fellas because they are covered in it. I suppose I could have colored them a different color, but I don't know. They're zombies, or they're mummies. I keep calling them zombies. They're mummies. And I wouldn't think that a mummy flesh would have too much color left to it, but considering like all the flesh has been removed, or the fluids rather, not the flesh. They have their flesh, but most of the fluid from them has been removed. And I guess that would make them like a dark brown. Like a really desiccated looking brown. These mummies are also compelled to move by dark magics, so you can make the excuse for any color really. It's also very similar how I painted the mummies from my original HeroQuest set. Or my Pop's original HeroQuest set. Hello there, sir. Just getting back to work after lunch. Well, welcome on in. This is our second mummy. And our second mummy is very nearly done. We had that last highlight of the Pallid Witch flesh to make the skin stand out. Then we're going to do the eye, and then he'll be done. I was just asking the stream, Alec, if you're still listening, that I was wondering what time is a good time for folks to come to stream, because I was doing it in the mornings for a while because that's the time that worked for me. And I got a lot of European viewers, which I thought was really cool, so I wanted to keep it going for them, but my morning streams have been getting a little bit later, so I haven't noticed a lot of them chiming in. You would love to see me paint some fungus folk. Would love to paint some fungus folk. Hey, Johnny Mock Builds. Yeah, I understand. But I understand that you wanted to paint. You don't want to mess up the minis. That was my first fear. I painted my dad's HeroQuest set from the 1980s, and I think he was low-key afraid that I was going to mess it up. But I felt like I was good enough to not mess them up. And I think they turned out okay. What I will tell you, Johnny Mock Builds, is that it doesn't matter how much you think you screw up painting a model or a mini, whatever it is you're painting. You can always strip it, because if you're just painting with hobby paints, like acrylic paints, you can always strip the paint off and try it again. And I mean, like, if you don't go crazy and seal it, then you're going to be a-okay. You do not have to worry too much about the paint job. I have repainted many a mini. I could show you some that I have stripped and repainted, and you wouldn't even be able to tell that the original paint job was on there. So, and thanks for coming on into the stream. Thanks for commenting on the YouTube stream. Love to see folks on YouTube. I stream this all the time on YouTube, and I don't see a whole lot of people on there, so good to see someone. All right. So while that Corundus green contrast paint is still drying, there's a little bit of the yellow, and bish bash bosh, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. That's another finished mummy. So we have two. Now it's interesting, because these two look like they're very different, which is interesting to me. This one's a little darker, but don't know why. I think it's probably just because maybe I applied less paint, but doesn't really matter. I mean, they're mummies; they look the same. I do usually paint my bases. Let me grab some minis that I painted already. I've got some heroes ready that I can just show you. Okay, so I have some heroes that I painted. Here is the barbarian from the core game. You see, I paint them usually with like a little texture paint. Super easy. Super easy to put on there, and then I just dry brush it, or I add a shade to it, and then I dry brush it with a little bit of a light gray, and then I paint the rims black. And there you go. the barbarian from the base game. Easy, I did the same thing. This is the wizard from the First Light module. Very similar thing. Just, it's super easy, and the reason why I do it is because you can see paint jobs online of folks who add or like a lot of stuff to the base, and I think that when you're playing with board game miniatures like this, these guys are going to be picked up and moved around a lot. The base stuff is probably gonna break off. So, you know. There's a dwarf from the First Light expansion. He's the rogue. It's a pain in the arse to get nowadays, but because Hasbro and Avalon Hill don't want to restock him for some reason. And here's the elf from the Mage of the Mirror set. So you see, I just all painted their bases in sort of a similar way. I painted this guy to look like Link. So there you go. Some examples of bases I've done. I haven't painted any of the bases on these undead folks, just because this is the paint that I use from Citadel. It's called, it's a technical paint. It's called Astro Granite. And it's just a, I don't have a whole lot left, which is why I haven't been using it. I'm thinking about replacing it with something a little more cost effective. It is, I use a little scooper thing to get it out, but it's got like, it's paint that's got like all these little like gritty particles in them. And you just spread it on the base and shade it. I throw some black shading on it once it's dry, because it does take a little while to dry. Yeah, for texture. It like kind of mimics dirt. So it's not just you're painting it gray or whatever. Some folks paint their bases with like little dungeon tile patterns, and I don't have that. I don't have the ability to freehand that in me, so I don't do that, but yeah. So let's yes, it is very much easier to do. It's very much easier to use a texture paint. I don't know if I would recommend buying this particular thing. I just buy it because I've used it so much. And it's just very expensive, and you don't get a whole lot. You can buy a big tub of a very similar thing from a company called AK Interactive. They do a lot of, it's for like, they market for like dioramas and stuff like that, but works perfectly fine with miniatures. And you get a big tub of it. Not a sponsor or anything, but I've seen a lot of people who swear by it, so you get a lot more stuff in there for not that much more. So, but yeah, there are lots easier ways. The only big downside to the AK Interactive stuff is you probably don't have it at your hobby store, but you would have Games Workshop stuff at your hobby store, almost certainly. So I found this zombie amongst my miniatures, and I thought there was a weird number of zombies, and I thought I was missing one, and I was. So I need to put the blue base coat on him. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I just had it in my hand. There, nope. Don't be like me. Organize your painting desks. I had it organized at one point, but then I got busy painting, and I haven't done it. Name for the zombie or name from the paint? The paint that I'm using is Cold Corpse Blue. So, for these ones, I'm doing a blue base coat. For the shadows, just because it looks cool. This zombie's name? This zombie doesn't have a name yet, Alec. When he gets a little bit more paint on him, he can have a name. I know we've got Dun and Grun. Dun and Grun will get an extra friend, yes. They've got plenty of friends coming, I promise you. And Johnny, if you have any more questions about miniature painting, fire them up. I am more than happy to answer them. Alec, if you have any questions about miniature painting, feel free to ask. I love to answer questions. Part of the reason why I did my YouTube channel and the stream is to educate folks on painting miniatures, because there's lots of resources out there, and I don't mind being one of them. This little patch of blue here. And then he's got 1 foot that's naked. Doesn't even have a sock on. Unfortunate for him. And all the other zombies. Okay. I think here. I have a bad habit about not getting the sides. There we go. Alright, so we've got more zombies that we have to paint. I've got this blue paint here, so they all have this little patch of skin on their pants that I missed. So I'm just gonna go block that in while I'm thinking about it. Okay. Cool. So now comes the tedious part of painting any sort of batch painting project rather. So the big problem with batch painting is that you tend to pick up and put down the same models over and over and over again. So the way I try to do that is I try to get get a paint that I need, that I know I'm going to need for all of them, put it on them, and then pick up the next model and then do that step on those. So the ones that I've painted so far are my test models. These are the models that I use to kind of base off all the other ones on, so I know my steps and everything like that. So for now, I'm going to start painting in the flesh on these models, the ones that what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's like the skin that's showing through on the mummies, and the skin that's showing through, or the skin that the zombies have, obviously. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be using a mix paint for this one. I'm going to be using elven skin, and I'm mixing it with ash gray. This is going to create sort of a dead looking skin tone, very desaturated skin tone, because they're dead. You don't want rosy cheeks on the dead. It's about, I will say, for if you want to replicate the skin tone, it's about a 1-to-1 mix. I just lied. I think it's about a 2-to-1 mix. 2 parts, yeah. 2 parts of the elven skin, 1 part with the ash gray. Because you still want a little bit of that skin tone, but you want to really desaturate it with the gray. So, what you end up getting is this sort of very corpse-like color. The paint brush is a little dry. What I'm doing is I'm just constantly like re-wetting my brush and once I've got the colors mixed, I immediately wash off my brush because I want to make sure that I've got all of the colors that any other color off the brush, because it'll mix on the palette, but it won't necessarily mix on the brush. Yeah, decaying skin. That's what you want. You want it to look... I want it to look kind of gross. Because, I mean, you know, these are the undead. And I just want to make sure I have a strong layer of that so it's not too transparent. Okay. That's one. And we went to the next. I'm trying to get my tip a little bit pointier. Whoops. Zoom out just a titch, because I keep doing that. This is just a little too watery. I'm actually going to swap brushes here. I think I'm going to go with my one. It's got a little bit of a better point on it. little bit more water in my wet palette. I feel like it's drying out just a touch. Thank you very much, Johnny. I'm gonna thank you for the subscribe. You'll probably be seeing more videos from me in the coming days as well, once I have more opportunities to film them. And I got plenty of videos on my channel already that you can take a look at. Got more advice on there.
There is a tavern in the town, and there my true love sits him down, and drinks his wine, make love to free, and never, never thinks of thee.
Oh, this is a do-a-do.
Remember that the best of friends must part, Adieu, adieu, kind friends, adieu, adieu, adieu. I can no longer stay with you. I'll hang my harp on a weeping willow tree.
I guess that means I have to go now, huh?
He left me for a damsel dark. Each Friday night they used to spark, and now my love, once true to me, takes that dark damsel on his knee. Fare thee well, for I must leave thee. Do not let the parting grieve thee. Remember that the best of friends must part. Adieu, adieu, kind friends, adieu, adieu, adieu. I can no longer stay with you. I'll hang my harp on a weeping willow tree, and may the world go well with thee. Oh, dig my grave both wide and deep. Put tombstones at my head and feet, and on my breast carve a turtle dove to signify I died of love. Fare thee well, for I must leave thee. Do not let the parting grieve thee. Remember that the best of friends must part. Adieu, adieu, kind friends, adieu, adieu, adieu. I can no longer stay with you. I'll hang my harp on a weeping willow tree, and may the world go well with thee.
Don't worry, I'll play it again when I sign off, Alec. That's my new sign-off song. Okay. But I'm not leaving just yet, because I feel like I haven't been on long enough, and I've got plenty more work to do. goes. Another mummy. Excuse me once again. Keep doing that, guys. I'm sorry. I'm actually just gonna move this up just a touch because I keep putting my models up here so you guys can't see them. I was trying to keep them to myself. It's just more comfortable up there, so I'm just gonna move it up a little bit so that you can actually see what I'm doing. It's probably pretty important for a stream, I guess. Those little mummy fingies. Excuse me. It definitely feels like Christmas music. It's not intentional, but it feels like it. Oh, almost forgot his little tootsies here. Alrighty. That's one more mummy. Okay, back. There. I was talking to my wife. She was asking me a question about lunch, and I do need to eat it, so I'll probably do that thing. You know, it never ceases to amaze me just how gross this skin color looks. If you had a little bit more of a pinkish hue underneath it, then it would just look like really pale skin, I think. Maybe a little sickly kind of looking. But like this, with this like kind of dark brownish red underneath, definitely looks like corpse skin. Even more so on the zombies, which you'll see soon. They are, since they have blue skin tone underneath, it definitely looks like a corpse. My watch is telling me it's time to stand, and to that I say, mind your own business. It's like, you don't know what I'm doing, watch. I got important things to paint over here. There we go. That's the last mummy of that pose. Yeah, sickly is fitting. So I've got two mummies of an alternate pose. They have much less flesh on them. This is a lady mummy. As you can tell from her very truthful hips. I have two. I have two of this particular pose. There are 6 of the original pose. I only have 2 of these because these were special. Alternate sculpt mummies from the HasLab campaign that I backed when HeroQuest was revamped. You can get them now in one of the new quest packs, which were originally part of the HasLab campaign. The Prophecy of Telor and the Witch, the Spirit Queen's Torment, which both are available now. And you can find this alternate sculpt in there, along with some other alternate sculpts. I believe Prophecy of Telor has the alternate sculpts for the goblins and the orcs, and the Spirit Queen's Torment has the alternate sculpts for all the undead stuff, the skeletons and the mummies and the zombies. But I don't really know. I'm not sponsored by Hasbro or anything, so. But the point is that these weren't always available. These were not always available for purchase to everyone. And these ones don't have as much flesh showing on them, so they don't take as long. But they have more bindings, so when I go to paint the bindings, that will take longer. Equivalent exchange, you see. I feel like a lot of her fingers are actually bound up, but you know what? Doesn't really matter. Fix it in post. All right, there we go. That's all the mummies with the first layer of sickly skin on there. So now we do the zombies. And we're using the same mixed color of elf skin and ash gray. These guys, as you would imagine, have a lot more skin on them. But we want to be careful when we're doing this to not get too far into the shadows of the miniature that I painted earlier. So that's the trick with these guys. We'll probably have to apply a couple of thin coats. Okay. Time for his face. Alrighty, yep. we'll do our next coat of the sickly flesh tone. This one dried on a little spotty, which means that it's a very thin layer. This sounds like Frankenstein music. Which is somewhat appropriate given that I'm painting a zombie. Even though Frankenstein is decidedly not a zombie, he's a flesh construct. Excuse me, just clear my throat. Oh, almost forgot his little tootsie down here. The foot. Alright, cool. That's the sickly flesh on one zombie. These zombies' bellies are always kind of weird me out because they're so so sunken in. Okie dokie, buddy. Mute and work for a while. Go for it. We are just painting away. You're not missing much in the matter of in the field of conversation here. I am just getting this sickly skin painted on. Working on that second coat of sickly flesh. It's a little pinker than I would like, actually. A little bit too much elf flesh got mixed in there, I think. It's fine. We're gonna apply an all-over tint to them anyway. We don't want too much of a pinkish hue on these old dead men. They're dead. I need to get the face. Very nearly forgot to do his face. That would be tragic. Okay. That's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. Alright, get a little tootsie here. Don't forget the feet. He does have feet. Or a foot. Okay, that is another dead man. Excuse me. We have 2 more of that pose left to do. And then we got 2 more of the alternate pose, the female zombies. And then that'll be the skin done on all the zombies, which... That'll be skin done on all these guys, which is kind of what was kind of my goal for today. I wanted to paint those 2 mummy test models, just so I knew I had my scheme down. And then I wanted to get all of the first layer of this undead skin tone on the zombies. I actually think I might just come back after I eat and just continue painting, because I'm kind of in a mode here, if I'm allowed. If I don't have any fatherly duties to attend to, I can come back and finish a lot of these guys. We will see what the vibe is after I finish eating lunch. Whether or not I'll be able to come back and finish these guys. Because I've got all the paints on my wet palette, I kind of want to just use them. And the crazy goal for today would be to finish them all. Okay. I was just informed that my lunch is ready, which is a very nice thing. Probably, if it was just me here and I was in this flow state painting, I probably wouldn't have even bothered to eat, so it's a good thing that my wife is here.
Well, it's all for me grog, me jolly, jolly grog. It's all for me beer and tobacco. For I spent all me tin on the lassies drinking gin. Far across the western ocean I must wander. Oh, where are me boots, me noggin boots? They're all gone for
I do like this song. This one's popped up Monday when I was streaming.
tobacco, for I spent all me tin on
I love all these sea shanties that are in this D&D playlist. I'll probably switch it up eventually.
All me tin on the lassies drinking gin. Far across the western ocean I must wander. Oh, where is me bed, me noggin bed? It's all gone for beer and tobacco. For the sheets they are all tore, and the mattress is all wore, and the springs are looking out for better weather. And it's all for me grog, me jolly grog. All for me beer and tobacco.
We're ready. Very nearly done with this little second Alright, we'll finish off with the face. Alrighty, that is, once I do his little tootsies down here. That's one more down. Just a few more left of that pose. I think I'm gonna take a break for lunch, and like I said, I will try to come back if I can. So I'm gonna play this, but it may not be a due. There we go. My true love sits him down and drinks his wine, made love to free. So I think we're gonna take a little break here. We're gonna try to come back if I have the ability to do so. I will. If I don't, it is what it is. But I'll try to come back. I want to finish these models up because I've got the paint on my palette, and also I just, I want to make some good progress today. So we've gotten, I'd love to finish them all today if I can. And then I will be able to move on to something a little more fun than just painting a bunch of zombies and mummies and skeletons, which is all I've been doing recently. So I get to play around a little bit, which will be nice. So yeah, but I will be back hopefully if all goes according to plan. But if not, I will see you next time, which will probably be on Monday. But peace out.
My grave both wide and deep, wide and deep. Put tombstones at my head and feet, and on my breast carve a turtle dove to signify I died of love. Fare thee well, for I must leave thee. Do not let the parting grieve thee. Remember that the best of friends must part, must part. Adieu, adieu, kind friends, adieu, adieu, adieu. I can no longer stay with you, stay with you. I'll hang my harp on a weeping willow tree, and may the world go well with thee.